The dispatch room hummed with a low, constant thrum, a symphony of panicked voices and urgent directives. Sarah, a seasoned 911 operator, navigated this chaos with practiced ease, her voice a calm harbor amidst the storm. But one call, a whisper from the edge of terror, would etch itself into her memory, a chilling reminder of the unseen horrors that lurk just beyond the veil. Years of fielding emergencies had hardened Sarah, turning her empathy into a controlled response. Overdoses, domestic disputes, and accidents blurred into a monotonous stream of human suffering. But tonight was different. Tonight, the mundane was about to shatter, revealing a darkness that no amount of training could prepare her for. The call came late, the silence punctuated by the rhythmic tapping of Sarah's fingers on the console. A small voice, barely audible, pierced through the static, carrying with it a chilling premonition. It was a voice that would haunt her dreams, a whisper from the abyss. 911, what's your emergency? Sarah's voice was calm, measured, a lifeline extended into the void. But the response that followed sent a shiver down her spine, a whisper that hinted at something unspeakable. It was the voice of a child trapped in a nightmare. I need police. The voice was a thread, thin and fragile, threatening to snap at any moment. Laurel Hill Drive. The address hung in the air, a sinister landmark in the otherwise ordinary landscape of the city. What's the nature of your emergency? Sarah pressed, her professional composure starting to fray. But the answer she received was even more unsettling than the question itself. A chilling premonition that something was terribly wrong. There's something in my room. The whisper was barely audible, a breath against the void. It's in my room. The repetition sent a chill down Sarah's spine, a feeling of impending doom. Somebody in your house, ma'am? Sarah's fingers tapped against the console, her heart pounding in her chest. The silence stretched, thick and suffocating, broken only by the crackling of the static. Something, the word, slurred into static, a broken connection between worlds. Frustration mingled with a growing sense of dread. This wasn't a prank call. This was something far more sinister. Can you speak up? Sarah's voice rose, desperation creeping in. Adrenaline coursed through her veins, sharpening her senses. But the only response was a ragged sob, a sound that tore at her soul. The voice pushed itself forward, ragged and broken. It's in my doorway. The words hung in the air, a chilling revelation of the horror that awaited. Then the line went dead. Silence. A flat, empty void where a terrified voice had once been. Sarah's heart pounded in her chest, a drumbeat of fear echoing in the silence. Sarah called back, her fingers flying across the console. The line rang and rang, a shrill, unanswered plea. But only static answered, a cold, indifferent presence. Police were dispatched, sirens screaming through the night. Sarah stayed on the line, her voice a desperate beacon in the darkness. "Speak to me! Say anything!" she pleaded. But there was only silence. The officers arrived at the address. Laurel Hill Drive. The house was dark, silent, a tomb. Doors locked, windows unbroken. No sign of forced entry, no trace of a struggle. They tried to listen, straining their ears for any sign of life, but the house remained silent, a hollow echo of the terror that had unfolded within its walls. Sarah stayed on the line, dialing, paging, begging the girl to speak. But there was only static, a mocking reminder of her helplessness. They wrote it off as a prank, a bored kid, an accident of crossed lines. But Sarah knew better. She had heard the terror in that voice, the raw primal fear that no prank could ever replicate. Paperwork prefers neat, explainable things. But the truth was far more complex, far more terrifying. Something had happened in that house, something that defied explanation. Sarah refused to let it go. She replayed the call countless times, searching for a clue, a hidden message. But all she found was the same chilling whisper, the same haunting silence. She said the girl wasn't playing. The terror in that hush was a thing you could put your hand on, cold, dense, not human. Sarah's voice would drop to a whisper as she tried to describe it. The house was empty then, for sale. Months passed, seasons changed, but the memory of that call remained, a persistent echo in Sarah's mind. Someone later bought it. A young family eager to start a new life. Sarah wondered if they knew what had happened there, if they could feel the lingering presence of the darkness. Sarah never told me what the new owner said when they moved in. She didn't need to. The silence was enough, a heavy weight of unspoken horror. She told the story in a voice that betrayed where training failed. Around the edges, when she thought no one listened, her hands would clamp the headset tighter. Her mouth would dry as if the doorway she'd heard were also standing at hers, a silent, unseen presence just beyond the threshold. I can still hear the whisper, echoing in the silence of my own mind, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurks just beyond the veil of reality. I do not know what stood in that doorway, what malevolent entity had terrorized that young girl, but I know the sound of true fear, the chilling echo of a soul in torment. I know only the sound of an operator who, more than once, has faced other people's endings and walked away with one question gnawing at her soul. What waits on the threshold when no one opens the door? What horrors linger in the darkness, waiting to be unleashed upon the world? The question haunts me, a chilling reminder of the fragility of our existence, the ever-present threat of the unknown. And as I listen to the silence, I can't help but wonder, is it still there, lurking in the shadows, waiting for another doorway to open? The call, the whisper, the silence, they all remain, etched into my memory, a chilling reminder of the night the doorway called. and I can't help but wonder, even now, if someone is listening. On the other side of the line, waiting,